Welcome back to the GTN Show. Now, who out there is trying to figure out what on earth they do with the rest of their triathlon season? I mean, with the uncertainty of racing, how do you even train? Well, I'm going to step in today with a bit of advice and some tips on how you can save your triathlon season and hopefully get the most out of it. We've also got an exciting update to Apple Maps that could be a game changer for cyclists and triathletes, a new Everesting triathlon, an hour running record attempt, and our usual race results and caption comp. Okay, today you are understandably probably a bit confused with your training. I mean, what are you training for? How hard should you be training? You might be worried that you'd be going too hard if racing doesn't happen for the foreseeable future, or the opposite of that, actually, you might be worried that you're going too easy if tomorrow they turn around and said you can start racing. Well, depending on where you are in the world, there are some races actually scheduled to commence as of September, obviously subject to change. So how do we go about saving your triathlon season? Well, I thought I'd jump in today with a bit of advice. Obviously, this is just my own personal advice, but imagine me as your coach, this is what I would be advising. Now, hopefully when lockdown hit, you, realised after a short while that we're in this for the long haul and you backed off your training quite considerably. And that means sort of knocking off those long, arduous efforts, the sort of zone 3 sweet spot and above. The problem with those, or the nice thing with them, is that they actually get you in really good shape, but there is kind of a lifespan with them. You can't do them all year round. You sort of build them up towards your race, get yourself in peak shape. But if you keep doing them for a prolonged period of time, they put a lot of stress on your body and you can end up overdoing it and burning out simply. So if this is yourself and you're realizing this as you're listening to this, no problem, just back off now. Almost have a post-lockdown break. Sounds a bit odd. But yeah, for others out there, I mean, given the uncertainty of racing, there's no set date. Simply all we can do is get yourself in as best shape as possible without overdoing it. So I've got a few points that I would advise you run through. So the first of which is focusing on your technique across all 3 disciplines. Obviously, if you can do all 3 at the moment. Now, with the swim in particular, the first thing a lot of people are probably going to want to do when they jump back in the water is get their fitness back as quickly as possible. I'd hold on to that for a second and actually focus on your technique, get yourself efficient before then building on your fitness. And same for the bike and the run, make yourself as efficient as an athlete as you possibly can. Next point is focus on your weaknesses. Obviously hear this all the time, but I mean it. If you are weak on the hills, why not go and work on the hills? That doesn't mean going necessarily doing hill reps, but actually just going out and doing steady long runs over sort of a rolling terrain and just making yourself strong and learning how to tackle those hills during a training run or during a race. Another thing that we don't normally make time for because we're always rushing around between training and work is doing some research. And I know this sounds really geeky, but if you are really targeting a race or you want to qualify for something, do your research into that race. That means the course profile, but also if you are looking to qualify, then look at your competition in your age group. What are the typical swim times, bike times, run times, and therefore working out what you're targeting. You can figure out those paces and start implementing that a bit into your training in the future, or at least building up to that over the next couple of months. Another thing you can focus on is doing some short efforts. And obviously I've told you to cut out some of those long, arduous efforts, but things like micro bursts where you're doing 10, 20 second sprints are really good for maintaining your power. Now, my physiological scientific knowledge is a little bit limited, but from experience and having coached a lot of people in the past, this is a really good way of keeping that power there, if not actually improving that top end power. And then finally, start building up your runs off the bike. Now, obviously in a triathlon, that's what it's all about. And actually a race can be won by actually being really good at running off the bike. So actually you don't need to be doing hard runs off the bike, but just learning how to run off the bike better, just build up gradually, use this time now, and before you know it, you might be running for an hour off the bike quite comfortably, and then you can start putting some efforts into that. All makes sense, doesn't it? But it's amazing how many of us don't do that when we're stuck in the midst of race season. Well, now for the Tri news, and this first bit of news jumped out at me. I thought it was really cool. Zoot have started creating their own face masks for obviously COVID-19 for protection, but they're creating it from remnants of fabric that are around their factory, whether that's offcuts, printing mistakes, overruns, samples. Anything that's left over, they're making face masks from. And well, if you know anything about Zoot and their designs, which are pretty wild, these face masks look really quite cool. They've also linked up with USA Triathlon with their Zoot One Forward project. So for every mask that is sold, they're going to donate one to USA Triathlon, to events, to staff and volunteers, which I thought was really cool. Another bit of news from Ironman is that they have added another event to their Italian Ironman calendar. So we now have Ironman 70.3 Venezia Solo taking place on the 2nd of May 2021. And that's already adding to their 3 existing events in Italy. We've got Ironman and Ironman 70.3 Emilia Romagna that take place in September. Both are sold out for 2021 already. And then we've also got Ironman 70.3 Sardegna in October. Now moving on, a while back here on the channel, we featured Mayank Vaid, who completed his very own Everesting triathlon. Well, in case it's of interest to any of you out there, he has now created his own Everesting Extreme Triathlon. If you head on over to everestman.com, you can find out more details. But basically, it follows the same rules as those on the everesting.cc website for the solo cycling and running attempts. But obviously, it is a little bit difficult to climb swimming, if not impossible. So mainly on the swim, you just need to cover the 8,848 meters for the swim, and then obviously climb on the bike and the run. Now he's got a few options for you here. So we've got the Everestman Triathlon Solo. So you swim the 8,848 meters and then climb that on the bike and the run. We've got the Everestman Duathlon, where it's the run and the bike, obviously climbing Everest on each of those. We've got Everestman Duathlon Team of 2, so 1 runner, 1 biker, and then we've got a team of 3, swimmer, biker, and runner. If you, like I said, want to find out more, get involved, head on over to everestman.com, and if you do it, let us know. We're now moving on to an event that you definitely want to put into your calendar, to watch at least, and that is the 4th of September, the AG Memorial Van Dam event, where Mo Farah, the 4-time Olympic champion, who has kind of stepped away from track running for some time, where he focused on the road and marathon running, he's coming back to the track as he tries to take Haile Gebrselassie 1-hour running world record. That currently stands at 21.285 kilometers. Now I'll do the maths for you here. That works out at 248 to 249 per kilometer. For an hour. I know, absolutely mental. Well, Mo is renowned for his kick and his sprint at the end of the race, which we've seen at numerous Olympics and World Championships, but can he get his pacing right? We'll just have to see it. I'm very excited about that one. And moving on, also, we have an exciting update from Apple on their iOS 14 that is due to be released soon. And this comes with a whole host of new features to their map, one of which is a dedicated feature to cyclists, in which it will map out a route purely for cycling, is optimized for cycling, so it will take you away from some of the busy sections onto cycle paths. It will also be able to tell you if you're taking on any challenging hills and give you the details on that. Now that is currently limited to New York City, San Francisco Bay Area, Shanghai and Beijing, but they say that they'll bring out more cities over the coming months. And also, if you fancy a last minute virtual event or race over the weekend, we have the Kentish Horse taking place between Friday and Sunday. This forms part of the Castle Triathlon virtual series, which has been immensely popular over the past couple of months. So much so, in fact, they have managed to raise over £30,000 for Macmillan Cancer Support, which they've taken from entry fees, 20% of entry fees, as well as obviously additional donations. So fantastic job there, that's absolutely amazing. They've welcomed everyone and anyone to these events. So you can be a beginner all the way through to an elite athlete. You can be a club, a corporate team entry, whatever you like. They've got a whole host of events that you can get stuck into: a triathlon, duathlon, aquathlon, aqua bike, swim only, bike only, run only, you name it. If you want to find out more, the link is in the description below, and obviously you can enter there as well. And finally though, we have a tech release. This one comes from Polar. It's the new Polar Unite. Now the exciting thing with this watch is that it actually gives you guidance with your training using something called FitSpark. So with FitSpark, it will basically take into account your current training, your fitness, your recovery, your sleep, and bring you ready-made workouts, tailor-made obviously for you. But not only that, it will actually guide you through those workouts. So you will actually be able to follow a timer or vibrate when you finish a rep. So hopefully keep you on track during that workout. Now obviously this is more focused towards the fitness athlete. It doesn't have a GPS functionality built into it, but should you like the sound of this watch, and I mean, it does sound pretty cool, you can use GPS by linking up your phone via and through the watch. Now, obviously it is slightly lighter without quite as many functionalities. It has a longer battery life with that and comes in at a slightly lower price point, £149.95. So pretty good price range. But obviously if the GPS functionality does sound good and you want a similar watch, we do obviously have the Ignite. That comes in at £174.50.
It's giveaway time. Yes, I have some winners to announce from that Assos unboxing. You might remember from a couple of weeks ago when I got to wear that lovely purple jersey. Well, 2 lucky viewers are getting their hands on a set of that full Dyora range kit from Assos. And the winners are Pavlina Velibova and Patricia Rosario. So congratulations, guys. We will be in touch with you. But if you missed out on that giveaway, don't worry, because we have a whole nother giveaway in this show. Yes, we have 10 Zwift footpods and 10 Polar H10 heart rate monitors to give away to you guys. Now, both of these don't require any Polar watch. You can connect to your phone or obviously to Zwift for the Zwift footpod. So if you are doing some indoor treadmill running at the moment, that's great for that. The heart rate monitor can connect up to your phone and you can use it anytime for any sport. So we have, as I said, 10 of each to give away. You know what to do. Follow the description in the link below to find out how to enter. Let's move on to race news now. You have to forgive me because I have been out for a week and haven't quite kept up with all of what was going on in the world of virtual racing. So I will be referring to my laptop as we go through this. I'm going to start with the Z Pro Series. Now, this week was on the Innsbruck Ring. 4 laps, making it a total of 35.4k of racing. And all eyes were on Teresa Adams as she has won the last 2 of these races. She made it into that first group, whittled down to 17 after 2 laps, whittled down to just 9 with a sprint finish coming up. Ruth Arstal made a move early on for that sprint, but maybe she went a little bit too soon because, yes, the overall winner again was Teresa Adams. Second place went to Antonina Reznikov, and Ruth Arstal had to settle for 3rd in the women's race. Well, in the men's race, David McNamee made an early attack with 6.5k to go. He was then joined by Braden Curry, and it looked like they were going to be able to work together, maybe keep off the group. They had 15 seconds with 4k to go, but that was sadly soon whittled away and it ended up being a pretty frantic finish. Christian Blumenfeld made a charge for the line, but again, too soon. And the final winner was Jason Laundrie. Sepp Oden was 2nd, and it was James Kudermatt who got on the podium in 3rd. And then on to Super League E-Racing, and it was the hilly route reverse, 3 laps, total of 28 kilometres. And even though it was hilly, it still came down to a sprint finish. Maya Kingma took the win. She was 0.04 seconds ahead of Emma Pallant in 2nd, and Lucy Charles 3rd with a 0.11 behind the winner. The men's race was equally close. This time, James Kudermatt topped the podium and Gordon Benson was 2nd, 0.09 of a second behind, and Jeremy Briand was 0.099, so incredibly close between 2nd and 3rd in that race. Our final bit of virtual reality racing is the Ironman VR number 13. I mean, I can't believe we've been in lockdown that long. This week it was the Oceania version, and they had a 3k run and a 40k bike. And it was Teresa Adams who was on top of the podium again. She took the win with a run time of 11:41, bike time of 58:21, giving her 1 hour, 10 minutes and 2 seconds ahead of Amelia Watkinson, who had an overall time of 1 hour, 10 minutes and 58 seconds. And then Grace Deck of Australia was a 1 hour 15. The men's race was also won by a New Zealand athlete, Mike Phillips, with a run time of 8:57. and a bike time of 54:22, giving him an overall time of 1 hour, 3 minutes and 19 seconds ahead of Tin Van Berkel of Australia in a 1 hour, 5:56. And Cam Brown was third with a 1:09:22. I've got all the good bits this week because now it's time to share your photos back with you. So thank you for sending so many in. Just a reminder, if you want to see your photo feature on GTN, then just use the uploader, which will be on screen at the end of this, but it's also in the description below. So check that out and share your photos with us, and videos, of course. Right, this first one comes in from Chris, and he has been inspired by our DIY triathlon. This was in a quarry to his house in Leamington. So I think he drove out, did the swim, biked back, and then ran, which is an impressive lot of logistics. And also his only ever third triathlon, having done a sprint and Olympic, and this was a half Ironman distance, so really keen for under 6 hours. Never been particularly athletic, so super pleased. Solo swim, bike, social distance run with a friend, before and after pics included. That is top work, Chris. Congratulations. And I love the fact that, you know, you've been inspired by our video. Hopefully more people will be inspired by you to go and do their own triathlon after that one. Now we have Ivan, who is training for a triathlon, whenever that might be. He says, building for the races when they come, but looking for new scenery away from the masses. Not disappointed. No, I wouldn't be disappointed if that was my view from my trail run. Nice one. Now here we have Matthew, who has sent a picture of his Bianchi Intrepida. I'm not sure I've even said that right. In the UK, in Wendover. I'm lucky enough not to have to go outside when I've got this in the garden. Cool. Well, hopefully the weather gets better again so we can go outside, but that looks lovely and clean and just, yeah, a nice space to go and escape and get your training done. Here we have another pain cave from Giuseppe, and it's his Specialized Tarmac SL5. And it says his haven during lockdown. Well, I'm sure sheds or pain caves, whatever they've been, have been a lot of people's havens, and that one looks like a rather nice haven to go and escape to. And our final one comes from Paul, and I feel like I should be letting Fraser read this one out, but hopefully Fraser will watch the show when it comes out, because Paul has sent in a picture of his Miele Uno, and he says, as Fraser requested, my old 1980s Miele on a tax trainer. Well, that is true retro. Paul is in Canada. Thanks, Paul, for sending that one and also listening to Fraser. We'll make sure we pass it on to him. And thank you, all of you guys, for sending those in. Just keep them coming because we love to see them and we love to share them with you.
Me back again now with the Caption Competition. And last week's photo was from Blenheim Triathlon, and it was of Alistair and Johnny Brownlee in a 2-up breakaway. And I, well, stupidly let on that I was possibly in this race. I don't know when it was. I may not have been, actually. But they did go on to win the race, kind of cross the line hand in hand or arm around each other. Now, a couple of you decided to poke fun at me. So Evan McDougall said, are we trying to win this race or just lap Mark? If we hurry up, we can do both. Thanks, Evan. Wade Whitboy, similar. Ali, is that Mark Threlfall we're about to lap again? Thank you, guys. And there was more along those lines. I think I opened myself up for that one. But yeah, we had, well, if you look at the photo, Johnny is pulling a rather funny face whilst Alistair looks rather focused. So a few people poking fun at that. So we had Brett said, I thought I was allowed to win this one. Obviously Johnny towards Alistair. Similar one. James Simmons said, Mum said you have to let me win this time. And then Anna Capano said, Alistair saying, hurry up, I think I left the stove on. Johnny, wait, what? And then also in reference to Johnny pulling a funny face, Etienne Garceau said, ugh, that smell, was that you, Alistair? But the winner, I thought this was quite imaginative, David Bannister, oh, I thought burrito power-ups were just for Zwift racing. So, David, you are the winner. Get in touch in the comment section below or over social media and we'll ping a cap out to you very soon. But now for this week's Caption Comp photo, and we're going back through the archive again. This is from the ETU Challenge race in Crash Cow in 2012. This is of Sebastian Kienle adopting, well, a rather unusual aero position. It's almost like he's trying to go Superman. Obviously he's going for his bottle, but hey, let's be imaginative. Get stuck into the comment section below with your captions and you could be the winner of a GTN cap. Well, that's it for another GTN show, but don't worry, we've got loads more brilliant videos coming up on the channel this week, one of which is how to train by feel. Now, this is something that I think many of us have forgotten how to do given the functionalities in these watches and bike computers that we're using these days. But we're going to be running you through how you can do that, and particularly if you're new to the sport, how you can make the most of it and actually learn how to do it well. So we're going to be throwing away our watches, just for a short period of time at least, and doing that. Also going to be running through how to look after your feet, particularly so for triathlon. This is really important. If you've done an Ironman, you will understand why this is important. Don't forget, you can also head on over to our GTN shop. You can pick up some of our merch, our GTN t-shirts, run t-shirts, you name it. And if you have enjoyed today's show, make sure you give it a like. Don't forget, you can also subscribe to the channel. Just click on the icon just below and hit that bell icon as well, so you'll be notified when all our other videos come out. And if you'd like to check out some of our previous content, we did a video on 80-20 training, the polarized training model, which quite a lot of athletes are adopting these days. So if you want to find out more, head on over to watch that. And also a which treadmill is right for you video. So may not necessarily be someone in the market for a treadmill, but if you're just interested to find out all the different treadmills that are available, head on over and watch that too.